Every intro's got to be different.
Every intro has to be different. Steve, what's going on today? How are you?
I am fantabulous, Katie Day. How are you doing?
I am wonderful. I am very excited for this week's guest.
And why so?
I have many reasons, but I'll keep it short. So if you follow her on social media, you get a great mix of business and personal. She is a kick-ass mom and wife. She has a really cool treehouse in her backyard. And on top of that, she is also an awesome real estate agent and team leader. Initially starting to flip homes at 22 years old, she got into real estate and since then has had a very successful career in the residential real estate realm and investing world, and now leads a team of agents in Southwest Florida. One thing that I really admire about our guest this week is that she moved from the Midwest-ish to Southwest Florida, and even with that move to a new market, has absolutely crushed it. She's well known in the industry for great social media marketing and property videos, and really just marketing in general. Her contribution and inspirational 5 a.m. East Coast calls, and just being an all-around great person. Please join me in welcoming Candace Decker from Southwest Florida.
Hello.
Hi,
wow,
friend.
I have to say that Katie Day has just perfectly summed up my entire life into this beautiful monologue. So thank you, Katie. I'm feeling good about that.
Yeah, you know, gotta try to do that in the beginning. And I did leave out like the boats, because obviously, you know, the Southwest Florida boat life,
Yes.
I left out. So my apologies there.
Okay.
How are you doing today, Candace? What's going on?
Oh my gosh, I'm so good. And it's funny you mentioned the boat thing, because I do post when I'm on my boat and people just assume that I am always on my boat.
If only. You're like, if this could be my life.
Not? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's too
So
bad.
I'm doing so good. I'm so glad you guys are having me on today. I'm excited. And thank you for mentioning my treehouse.
Dude, I mean,
What's so special about this treehouse? I have no idea what
it's nicer than my home.
What is it, like level, loft style? What is like?
You posted it
So,
on
your
your
social media?
Instagram, right?
Yes, it's on my Instagram. We did a reels on it. So I kept telling my husband that we needed just a play set for our kids, right? Swings and a little slide. And he's like, no. My husband's just like a one-upper. Like, he can't just do anything normal. So he ended up taking in between two trees, building this huge platform and building this tree house with a deck. It has a loft.
Hold on. I'm going in.
This is for everyone. Like, this is insane.
Yeah.
All right. So you can see my screen. This is Candace. If you don't follow Candace Decker already on Instagram, go ahead and do so. And so your husband, he's in construction he's a roofing company?
Yeah, so he's a roofing contractor, but his passion clearly is custom building things. So he has built be a dream closet. He has built this incredible
This is nicer than my home.
And he's the one that used to do all of our flip projects.
Clearly.
That's insane. And when are you holding off on offers on this bad boy? When's offer presentation date?
I mean, it's going to be expensive.
Look at this. It's like staged perfectly. Dude,
by the way,
there's a TV in there. What?
By the way, my kids watch. Oh wait, you didn't get to the zip line. There you go.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
That is insane. That's incredible.
Yeah. So he spent months, probably 4 months, every single night after work, every single weekend on this thing. By the way, I'm so happy it's done because I wanted to get on my boat again.
Dude,
like there are legit windows and doors in here. What? That is insane.
Yeah. I'm saying
it's
insane.
Like,
so there's air conditioning. Okay. I mean, we're in South Florida.
It is Florida, you know. Yeah, you gotta stay cool.
AC. He just dug Wi-Fi. He had a bulldozer this weekend. He destroyed our entire yard, and he put a hardwired internet line out there. So pretty much, we're never gonna see our kids again.
Hey, you know, at least you'll know where they are. So
my house is very quiet.
Insane.
That was probably a nice, you know, unintended consequence, right? You're like, oh, now our house is quiet. That's great.
So Candace Decker, for the very few people on this planet who don't know who you are, you know, give us kind of the Coles notes of just kind of who you are, and most importantly, why you got into real estate.
Yes. So one thing, I'm very passionate about everything I do, and I like to have a lot of fun. Okay. Because I don't know, this life is too short and I just like to have a lot of fun. So I actually got into the business because one of my passions is flipping houses and construction. So I grew up, my dad was a roofer, and I drove around my entire life in he has really upgraded his vehicle since I was little, but he had this old dumpy brown Dodge Dakota with like a little topper on the back. And I would ride around with him. I had overalls on and work boots, and my whole life, every weekend, I went around and worked with him. And so I think I just naturally, was really passionate about building things because he's super passionate. And him and he used to listen to Tony Robbins tapes. So I think that's where I get my love for like self-development and motivation. So he just made me into this little
mini Tony Robbins,
motivated builder, let's say. So had a lot of fun learning from him. So it's kind of funny. I met my husband. We went to high school together, but we met after high school, and we had only been dating a couple of months. And he was like, I really want to buy a fixer-upper, right? And we were just dating, and our family thought we were crazy, but we found this absolute piece of it was so rough. Like, it just should have been knocked down, right? And it smelled so bad. It had been neglected for probably 50 years, and we bought it. I was 22. And so that was my entry into investing. We walked away with a 6-figure paycheck I was 23 years old. So I was like, okay, I'm in, right?
Yeah. I'm into this. I
worked my butt off. Don't get me wrong. We worked every single day while our friends were out going to weddings and vacationing. I was literally in a basement, digging trenches. It sucked, but I learned a lot. I learned a lot about construction and flipping and hard work. And then I had a real estate agent who I liked, but I was like, I think we could do this better. I feel like this could be improved on, right? So that's kind of how it all got started.
And so that was when you were in Illinois, right?
Correct. Yes.
Very cool. Very cool.
That's insane.
So by the way, we took that check, and any 23-year-old would do is just hopped on a plane and moved to Florida with no job.
No big deal.
Makes perfect sense. So now in Florida, walk us through that. So, you started real estating a little bit in Illinois, you're in a brand new market, in a very competitive market. What was the one or two things that you did day one as a realtor in Southwest Florida?
So are we talking about the first time or the second time? Because I've done this twice, and the first time was not so great. Second time was better.
Well, and so I'd like to focus on both, right? Because obviously, it's great to talk about now, you have a coach, you're successful, you do all of the right things, you wake up early, you have this life, right? Yeah. But not everyone falls into that the first time. So yeah, let's focus in on some of the things that you did, but now that you shouldn't have. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So actually I went to real estate school to get licensed because I wanted to do more flipping. So we had some investors, and we really ideally wanted to flip because, let's be honest, we didn't really have any other plans. So so I went to class, and I was looking around. I was like, wow, if these people can do it, I think I can do it too. It just gave me a boost, right? Because in South Florida, everybody's a real estate agent. I'm not kidding you. I went to get my car fixed, and the guy was like, how's the market? I'm a realtor too. I'm like, but you're not, right? So everybody has a real estate license. So it's a whole mix of a crowd in there. So anyway, got my license. Not kidding you. Because I didn't know a soul. I maybe knew 2 people here when we first moved here. And I got a name tag, and I would go into Publix, which if you're not from Florida, Publix is the greatest grocery store on earth.
Amazing.
Yes. Side note. So I would go into Publix, and I would just walk around they were probably why is this lady's chest out so much? I just wanted everyone to see that, right? So I had the magnets on the car. I had the name tag, but like, I don't know. I didn't know anybody. So we were flipping, so we had some income, we were fine, but I really had no guidance and no understanding of how do you actually get business. So I did receive a call from Zillow, and the only availability in my price range, which at that time was about $150, was in by far the lowest price point you could possibly find. It was, if you actually YouTube the largest trailer park in the world, you will find my old Zillow market. So my first listing appointment was a $10,000 trailer.
Wow.
Where I actually ran to my car screaming because I thought I was going to get killed. So that's how I started. Like it wasn't always easy. But I started getting, instead of $10,000 leads, I would get like $40,000 leads. And I just always answered my phone. It really didn't matter. If I was in the shower, I was answering my phone. I would jump out. It did not matter, because the more I answered the phone, the better my business was getting. And I actually sold 36 homes my first year.
What? That's crazy. Yeah. So hold up. Okay. So 36 homes, your first year being fully licensed. Like, where did that business come from? Was it from Publix? Was it from Zillow?
Yeah. So unfortunately, I never got business from Publix. So agents, if you're watching this, you don't do that. So the majority of it was Zillow, a lot of it actually. And then, I would have random encounters, because back then I didn't have kids, I was just out and about. And so like one of my greatest clients of all time, I met at a garage sale. So I think it was, it was buying leads. And then it was just, hey, just going out and talking to people, and just being a nice person. So that is how the first year went.
Wow. Like 36 deals.
Yeah, 36 deals in your first year is almost unheard of. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And I also think that it's funny that was the mistakes made, right? And all of that, you're like, yeah, it wasn't great. I wasn't running a business like I should have been. And I sold 36 homes, but there was a lot of room for improvement. I love that, want for more and want for growth, and knowing now how you run your business and how you run your team. I'm sure you look back on that and you're like, oh God, what was I doing? But
yeah, I am very much a person that's always, how could I do things better? 100%. Like, it doesn't matter if I just created the greatest marketing piece of all time, okay, but how could this be better? That's just how my mind works.
So what advice would you give a realtor first year into the business? Would you say, buy the leads, or, have a rock solid schedule, have structure? What's the foundation? What would be the advice that you would give to a brand new realtor?
So the one mistake when I look back on was, and this doesn't matter if you pay for leads or you don't, or if it's fair, it's build up your skill set on how to talk to people and what to say, and what you say matters. Sometimes we get the business, but we blow it because we can't navigate what the person actually wants. And I see and with the, newer agents that we mentor and bring on our team, it's the same exact thing. Hey, they have the motivation and the drive and the desire to be in this business and to succeed. But if you don't know how to help people the way that they want to be helped and convert that business, then you're not going to get very far. So, when people ask you, hey, how's the market right now? I was asked that by a guy at Publix with the one opportunity I had at Publix. And he asked me how the market is. And you know what I said? It's good, because I didn't know. I didn't know how the market was, So I think educating yourself and getting the skills, build that, because with the skills comes the confidence, and you need that confidence, because I think people can smell BS a million miles away, and they need to know that, your confidence is going to relay to them. So I think that's really important.
So would you say, to get real tactile, like know your market, like know your stats, know your numbers in your trading area? And then secondly, or equally as important, is know what to say. So Candace, how did you know what to say? Like, I'm a new agent. I don't know up from down, left from right. I don't even know what to say. Everything seems good, right? Like, where did you go? Where did you go to get that knowledge or that practice or that insight to know what to say?
Yeah. So there's this thing called Google and YouTube. And I think we live, seriously, how lucky are we? Like right now I want to buy apartment buildings. And so when I'm just like not doing very much, I'm, getting ready for the day. I just YouTube how to buy apartment buildings. Like you can learn anything online. It's free, right?
Wow.
So just that's what I did even back in 2012, 13, there was a ton of real estate content out there. And I would watch, Mike Ferry had this superstar series where he would interview these amazing team leaders and they would talk about their businesses. And then, I would watch live calls, the cold calls for prospecting. And so I just taught myself, and then I think it's just funny that a lot of people don't think to just go to YouTube or Google how to talk to a buyer prospect in real estate, right? There's a million scripts, and I have a lot of agents reach out to me and say, "What's your scripts?" So it doesn't matter. Find the ones that you like, put it in your own words, and use those.
Yeah. So one of the things you said earlier was that a lot of the agents that have been on your team have been newer, and you have helped them to kind of learn the industry and all that. What would you say as a team leader are some of the key traits that you're looking for from people to join your team?
Yes. So I can teach skill. I cannot teach will. Like you just have to have that desire. And I think to me, it's pretty evident. I can tell who wants it and who doesn't. And where I see this the most is in vulnerability. And I'll give you a perfect example. I have a newer agent. She started on my team about a year ago, and it took her about 6 months to get her first deal. Okay. Now she has like 5 deals under contract, 3 listings coming up. But you know what? She has been so coachable and has done every single thing that we have asked her to do. And she shows up every single day. Even she says, I like cried in my brownie last night, but I'm going to get up and I'm going to try again. Right. And like, to me, that's everything. And I think the most exciting part is to see somebody who maybe they didn't have the skill, but they stuck with it every single day, even when they didn't want to. Even maybe I remember when my skills were quite embarrassing, but you know what? I got on that call and I practiced anyway. And I think that's what means the most.
Wow. I love that resilience. That's you can teach skill, you can't teach will. I love that. I wrote that down. I'm going to make sure that I share that with the team. Candace, at what point in your career did you kind of like look at everything that you were doing and took the jump into building a team? Because, in our industry, I find a lot of people, that's kind of the end goal. I want to build a team. It sounds a lot, we all know this, we all have teams. It sounds easier. But it's probably the hardest things that we've ever done in real estate. At what point did you identify in your career that it was time for you to have a team and to scale up?
Well, I think the first thing is a single agent. I always say you wear 50 hats, right? We're the marketer, we're the operations person, we're running the whole show. And when I did get into coaching, I had a 2.5-year-old and a 6-month-old. And I was working, 13, 14 hours a day. It was just ridiculous. I was at my computer until midnight every night. And when I started surrounding myself with these other incredible people who had built these teams around them to support and also to give better service to their clients, right? So now it's creating not only a better life for me and my family, but it's also best serving my clients. So I think there was just an aha moment when I saw, oh, wow, if I delegated this out, maybe I don't like doing this, but I really love doing this. So like what I find, because I'm a higher drive, so I'm like a hunter. I like to go hunt for more business. And so I've just kind of, navigated, okay, maybe, showing somebody 65 homes, which I did before, by the way, is not really like how I could best serve them because I'm more of a hunter, right? I want to go search for listings and more business and do all these things. And I'm really passionate about marketing. And so maybe it would be better if I brought somebody on who could nurture and consult our buyers better. And then that can help me grow the listing end. So it was like all of these little puzzle pieces that you slowly put together. And I think the hard part when you're looking at these teams and you're looking at, oh my gosh, these teams that are selling 300, 400, 500 homes, this doesn't make sense. How do they do it? It's a puzzle. It's a little bit at a time, a little delegation, a little hiring, a little more systems at a time to put that full piece together.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
I like that analogy a lot. One of the things that stood out to me in what you just said was that, obviously when you first started, you were working around the clock. So I want to dig into that a little bit more because you recently posted a reel on your page. I know you do a lot of recruiting and you talk to a lot of new agents and experienced agents in, your role as a team leader. Yeah. So I want to dig into that a little bit more. So like when you join a team, right? I guess if you just want to talk about it, I know you know what I'm talking about. So the agent that had interviewed with you and she'd interviewed with other brokerages and what the expectation should be of the industry and how life is in real estate.
Yeah. So the reels that Katie is referring to, we had an agent that we were interviewing and she goes, we talk a lot about work-life balance. I mean, I want work-life balance for my entire team, even though we work super hard. I think, it's not sustainable, right, to work 12 to 14 hours a day. So it's something that I'm really passionate about. And she said, wow, that's really interesting that you mentioned that because I have kids and I was meeting with another brokerage and the broker said that I better be prepared to miss out on my kids' sporting events because that's what you have to do in this business. And she was just super turned off by that because like what mom wants to hear, like, sorry, like Mikey's soccer game. Nope. You're going to show houses. Like it was just so insane to me that is even, an option. So I think the big benefit of being on the team or a team in general is, hey, I've got people to lean on. Right? Like I've got help if I need it. So like, don't miss Mikey's soccer game.
Yeah. I think that's a huge misnomer in the industry for someone to come in a leadership position to be like, hey, like be prepared to miss out on dinners and evenings and weekends and stuff. I look at that. I hear what they're saying, but I identify the person that's telling me that. Are they themselves running a business correctly? Because it was probably after my first full year of real estate where I was like, you know what? This business is actually broken up into two different silos. Number one is very transaction based. You can continue to work and grind and do transactions, or you can look at this as a business and look at yourself as a CEO. So Candace, I know that's something that you've done very, very well. You've kind of positioned yourself as the CEO. Can you walk us through kind of your organization for people who are just about to start to get into building teams and those who already have well-established teams? Can you share with us what that kind of model looks like and why it works?
Yes. So I'll take you through our org chart, which, by the way, if you have a vision to have a team or you're just starting a team, the org chart for me, as silly as it sounds, because I'm so like anti-corporate, that I'm like, oh, an org chart. But here's what it does. It really establishes your vision, right, on how you want your future business to look like. And it's really important to have that vision. I think about it as like, okay, you don't hop in the car without knowing where you're going, right? That doesn't make any sense. This plan is, hey, I know where I'm driving to. I know exactly where I'm going. So right now, We have a director of sales. So he really helps with agent attraction, and he's usually the first point of contact for the new agents that are interested in coming on our team. And then he coaches and mentors our agents on our team weekly. And then I have a director of operations who will eventually be my integrator, which is a whole new thing I just learned about not long ago. And she's incredible. She has really helped. Both of them have just taken our business to new levels in the last couple of months. I can give her a huge project and say, here, run with it. And she'll do it even better than I would have. And she's like my rock. I love her. She's been incredible. And then we have a transaction coordinator / listing coordinator. And we also have another admin assistant who does a ton of behind the scenes stuff for us on social media and a lot of stuff in our CRM. And then we have 9 agents total.
Wow, great. Fantastic.
So, where do you see the team in like 5 years?
Okay. So I don't have a 5-year vision just yet.
Yeah.
So in 2 years, I can tell you that we will be doing 600 transactions, at least 50 agents. But I was actually talking to my coach today, and I said we really need to up this because the beginning of the year we were going to have 12 agents by the end of the year, and now we're pacing 20, and the goal next year was 30. And I said we just have to fix that because it's just not accurate. So what you said about CEO is just absolutely spot on. You know, like looking at it from a high level of business and what the future looks like. And for me, my why is freedom, believe it or not. My why is eventually doing whatever I want, whenever I want, even though I know that I'm crazy and that I will probably be satisfied when I'm there. But I want the option, right? I just want the option if I want to. And that's super important to me. So all of this is for that. Someday I want to hop on a plane with my kids and my husband and just go to Europe for the week because we can. And so those are the things I want to do.
Take me with you.
And I am obsessed with buying apartment buildings right now. So I want to do that. And so, you know, this is a great vehicle to get me to that point. And I have a lot of fun helping agents. Like, we're having a lot of fun here. Our agents are making a lot of money, and they're having a lot of fun, and they're learning a lot. And, you know, I just want everyone around me to have a great life. You know, that's what it's about.
It's that whole adage, right? Your vibe attracts your tribe. Like, your team must be a party. It must be a party.
Actually,
let's be real. Like, teams, we argue too and we fight, but at the end of the day, like, if we have great culture, which I guarantee you have, Candace, I bet it's a party 9 times out of 10.
Well, every Friday at 3 p.m. it is a party because it's claw time.
Claw clock.
Yeah. So, Katie, I know you're coming to Naples. I don't think you're going to be here on a Friday, but if you were welcome to happy hour.
Man, that really actually stinks because I am flying out on Thursday to go to Vegas. So, tough life.
I'm sure you'd much rather be having happy hour at the Decker Group here than in Vegas. But
that could be true, actually. Southwest Florida is a little bit more attractive to me than Vegas, but I'm sure I'll find some fun there while I'm there.
You'll be okay.
I'll be all right.
Candace, another question is, if you were not real estating right now, like the real estate industry is gone, what would you be doing?
It's a good question. Yeah. So I would be going, I want to be like the John Taffer of small businesses. Or who's our guy, the guy that owns Camping World? Marcus Lemonis. So going into business and like ripping the whole thing to shreds and building it back up again is so fascinating to me.
You're just a problem solver.
That's so interesting.
What was that?
Insane.
He said you're a problem solver.
I thought she was talking to you. Candace, is in the business for 10 years and they've plateaued. They're a single agent. They've plateaued. what's the one thing that you could tell them, one piece of advice that you could give to them to kind of break through that plateau?
They need another hire.
And what hire would that be?
Whatever the least amount of money. Okay, how do I phrase this? So we got to look at money making activities, right? So if we could monetize on an hour basis what they're doing, what are they making the least amount of money at? And that is exactly what they should delegate out.
How do you respond to someone who says this? But Candace, I'm not making enough money to hire anyone.
That's exactly why you need to hire somebody. So a perfect example. Okay. I moved again. So I move a lot. It's confusing to track, but this last time, 2019, I moved from Illinois back to Florida again, a second time. And before I even landed on the ground in the Sunshine State, I had a full-time assistant. There was no guaranteed income. I left my entire book of business in another state, but I knew it was so important because I knew when I came here that I didn't want to put together marketing pieces. I didn't want to do a lot of the paperwork behind. I didn't want to do any of. I'm bad at paperwork. Don't ever ask me to do paperwork. I will mess it up. I'm terrible at it. So you have to know your strengths and weaknesses. But I think day one, an agent should hire a coach and hire a part-time assistant. Day one, in a transaction coordinator. I don't think an agent should ever transact their own closing. I don't think they should ever.
I'm with you on that. Wholeheartedly, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So a brand new agent should have two hires, right? A transaction coordinator they pay per file, and then maybe a virtual assistant that so perfect example. You could find a virtual assistant, maybe outsourced, and maybe they're part-time and you're paying $100 a month for them to do a couple of tasks for you. I mean, it's $100 a month. So I think people get so tied up in what they're spending and not thinking about what they're making. And it's twisted, and you are never going to grow.
Let's add on to that. So as Candace has so aptly highlighted, like some very strategic hires. Now, to piggyback onto that is you hire people, but you continue to do the work that makes you money. It's not like, here, now go do the work and I get to sit back, because then you're going to go broke real fast. So I think that's great advice, Candace. I think it's great.
And you've got to know your numbers. Like I know right now, I was last quarter, I was 75% of my team's production because my team is newer. And now this month, I'm only 50% of my team's production.
Whoa.
So, as we grow, that I can start to step back in production, give more to my team, and then, really look at things more from a higher level when I'm not in production. But if you don't know your numbers, what are you doing? I was on a call yesterday and this lady didn't even know how much money she made last year. Like, how can you make intelligent decisions for your business if you don't know how much money you make or how much you're spending? And I think a lot of people, they don't want to look at the numbers because the numbers aren't good.
Yeah. 2 points that I take away from that. So super congratulations on that jump from 75 to 50.
Thank you.
Mine has been way more gradual. So like I'm interested to continue this conversation, in a month and in 6 months and, next year. Because that's awesome. And the numbers, so many people don't know. And I think part of it too is if you don't need the money, you're not counting the checks and counting the expenses. You're just kind of selling houses as you please. So that's kind of crazy.
Sweet. Crazy. Awesome. Well, you know what, Candace, we know how incredibly busy you are. And so we're going to end off our podcast like we end off all of our podcasts with the most difficult question in the world. So Katie, do you want to ask it this time or do you want me to ask? I feel like I've been hogging this question a lot because it's my favorite question.
Yeah, it is. Okay. I'll ask it. All right. So Candace, if today was your last day on earth and you had one meal left to eat, what would it be?
Oh, I'm so glad you didn't ask me what kind of vegetable that I was, because I know you guys asked that question. So thank you.
Did I tell you that? So I don't know if
I heard that. And I was like, scares me to death.
So that's one of our team's interview questions. And I'm now I'll tell that to the world. But like when Ryan and I are in an interview, we were having difficulty communicating like if we both were for someone or not. So he would, if he was like feeling the interview, he would be like, okay, Steve, you know, just a funny question or whatever. If you were a vegetable, what kind of vegetable would you be? And that was the cue to me that if I also liked them, then I move forward in talking about, you know, kind of next steps and meeting with the team and what we do. Now we're gonna have to come up with a new question since I just gave that away. But
I know,
you know, that's our, you know, thing there. So Candace,
I'll answer the question, but see, don't you think that's the worst question you could ever ask somebody?
It's so funny as Katie's talking, her lips are moving, but I'm actually trying to figure out what vegetable I would be, right? Because I'm like actually thinking about it. I don't even know. I'm like flustered.
It's an impossible question.
But I feel like people either say like their favorite vegetable, right? It's like my favorite vegetable is green beans. That's what I would be, no question. But other people have put a lot of thought into it. They're like, I'd be spinach because it's so versatile. I'd be zucchini because blah 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 blah. And I'm like, oh wow, like I just like green beans. I'm not that deep.
See, I'm not that smart, and I would have probably like overthought about it and then just came up with like the worst answer. I see you're just like, hey, I just like green beans, so it's green beans. But I would be like,
20 minutes later, we were like, never mind, Candace.
Yeah.
All right. So if it was your last meal on earth, what would you be eating?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not a foodie. I'm just like, I don't know. Like I'd probably just skip the meal and get it over with. But I would probably go with I like sushi, like any type of sushi, and I would definitely have a beer.
Nice. Okay.
Rob says Steve would be squash because he loves to crush it.
Yes, that's a good.
Rob, great answer.
Rob Hannaford, huge props to him. He was my first coach. I love that guy. Anyways,
that's funny.
Candace, thank you so much for all of your infinite wisdom, your time, your energy, your incredible personality. For the few people who don't know where to find you, where do you exist on the internets? Where can we go to find you, to follow you, to know more about you?
All right. So you can find me and get a hold of me the easiest on Instagram. That's where I live, at Candace Decker Realtor. So make sure you follow me. And thank you guys so much. This was so much fun.
I can't wait till we can do this in person. I'm like, I can't wait till we see you.
Are you going to Summit, Candace?
I'm going to it all. Just whatever you invite me to, I'm going. So yes.
Done.
Party time.
Sweet. Party time. Well, again, Candace, rock. You're amazing. Everyone needs to follow you, hear you, and just, be you. You are the Michael Jordan of real estate. We need to be like Candace. So anyways, thank you again, Candace, for everything. We wish you all the best and continued success for many, many years to come. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you. You guys are amazing.
Peace.